This is your Neepawa Town Council Debrief for the April the 6th, 2023 meeting. The debrief will highlight the key issues being discussed by Council and provide some context for the conversations and information on what the decisions mean for the town. We begin this week with a public hearing for a zoning bylaw amendment. Now, we see quite a few of these throughout the year, and they exist to give residents, business owners, and government departments the opportunity to weigh in on changes being made with regards to the town's zoning. This one in particular is to rezone a parcel of land on the north side of Gill Drive from industrial to residential, mobile, and modular homes. Now, most of the comments received were regarding ensuring there were drainage and traffic studies done for the area prior to development, with one comment against the change entirely.
So the general intent of the bylaw 3220-23 is to rezone ML, which is industrial light zone, to the RMH, residential modular mobile home zone, and also to establish the use of bulk requirements for low and medium density multiple units in the RMH, residential mobile and modular home. The area affected by the bylaw number 3220-23 is a 1.72 acre parcel of land located west of PTH number 5 and north of PTH 16, and located on the north side of Gill Drive in the town of Neepawa, more particularly described as being Lot 1, Block 2, Plan 6965 NLTO, roll number 156400 in PT Southeast 321415 West, as the map being provided here. The general uses that will be added to our current zoning bylaw would be to, under table 4.1, residential use table, would be the dwelling, low density multiple units within the RMH as a conditional use. Also would be the dwelling, mobile density multiple units within the RMH would be also as a conditional use. Then within the residential bulk table, which is table 4.2, would be the RMH low density multiple units. The principal area for this one would be 10,000 square feet, minimum width of 75 feet. The frontage would be 25 feet off the front boundary, 10 feet off both interior and the corner of the boundaries. 25 feet off the rear if there's a lane currently, and 30 feet if there's no lane. That's to allow for emergency services to gain access to the property if need be. And then the maximum height would be required would be 45 feet, and the minimum square footage for the within the RMH, the low density, would be 400 square feet, and then any accessory use within that zone would also be the 25 feet off the front boundary, 6 off the interior, and 10 feet off the interior, off the corner, and 2 feet irregardless of lane or no lane. And it would be a minimum 4 feet off or away from the building, the principal building, and the max height would be 12 feet. Then for the RMH, dwelling moderate density, for the principal would be the area needs to be 12,000 square feet with a minimum site width of 100 feet. And the frontage would be 25 feet, 15 feet off the interior, and also 15 feet off the corner, 25 feet off the rear for if there's a lane, and 30 if there's no lane. And as the low density, it also requires it to be 45 feet max height and 400 square feet. And then for an accessory would be the standard of the 25 feet, 6 feet off the interior and 10 feet off the corner, and 2 feet regardless of lane or no lane off the rear boundary. And it also needs to be a minimum of 4 feet away from the principal building and a maximum of 12 feet. We have received comments from the circulation from the provincial provinces. departments. I'll read them out as provided by regional planning. In response to our email dated February 8th, we have received the above noted zoning bylaw amendment. The intent is to rezone the subject land from ML Industrial Light Zone to RMH Residential Mobile Modular Home Zone, along with the associated textual amendment in order to accommodate a multiple unit residential dwelling. This is in conjunction with the Neepawa Area Planning District Development Plan Amendment Bylaw 122. Based on all available information, we do not object to the subdivision. We recommend this one is actually from MTI, this comment. MTI recommend that developer provide the following. We have concerns with the traffic generated by the development may have an impact on the traffic operations of PTH 5 and PTH 16. Therefore, we do not require the developer to provide a preliminary traffic projections. Please contact Karen Taves at the allotted number. Based on this information, our department will determine if a more detailed traffic impact study is required. If required, this study is to be prepared by a qualified engineer and will be determined that the impact the traffic generated by the development will have on the traffic operations at the location and what, if any, on the highway improvements will be required. And the second one will be written confirmation is required from our department that the drainage is not an issue or that the applicant has adequately addressed the drainage issues. The applicant will have to provide our regional technical services engineer in Brandon, Denise Schubinville. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name.
No, that's right.
With the information necessary to ensure the drainage from the site would not adversely affect the provincial highway system. If necessary, the regional engineer may request the applicant to submit a detailed drainage plan prepared by qualified experts. Please note that the costs of this study and any revisions to the highway drainage system directly associated with the proposed development will be the responsibility of the developer. And Denise can be reached at the allotted number as well. Manitoba Environment, Climate and Parks. They note the responsibility lies with the local government and planning district to ensure that all bylaws, zoning bylaws, development plans, and amendments therefore are in compliance with the Water Rights Act, the Water Rights Regulation, and the policies, procedures, and requirements of the Drainage and Water Rights Licensing Branch. And for more information, they have provided links. And every other provincial department has no comments or concerns. Regional planning has noted one. The Manitoba Municipal Relations Community Branch Planning. This map and text amendment proposes to rezone a 1.7 acre parcel of land located west of PTH 5 and north of PTH 16 and located on the north side of Gill Drive in the town of Neepawa, more particularly described as being Lot 1, Block 2, Plan 6965 NLTO, Roll 156400, and PTS Southeast 321415 West. From ML Industrial Light Zone to RMH Residential Mobile Modular Home Zone. Additionally, this zoning amendment also adds new use and bulk requirements for the dwelling, low density multiple units, and dwelling moderate density multiple units, uses within the RMH Residential Mobile Modular Home Zone. Provided council is satisfied with the proposed change in the zoning from an ML Industrial Light Zone to an RMH Residential Mobile Modular Home Zone, will not increase potential for the land use conflict with existing adjacent light industrial uses and or that they be adjacent mitigated through buffering, possibly through landscaping. The Brandon Community Planning Office has no concerns with the proposed zoning bylaw in confirmation with the Neepawa Area Plan District Development Plan as a consequence of the Neepawa Area Plan District Bylaw 122, once it is approved by the minister and therefore give third reading. Basically what their concern is for that one is the current lot to the west of them is, in the development plan it has been changed to residential, but in the zoning it still states as it's industrial. So their main concern is if this one goes through, then basically you'd be sectioning off this little lot with residential, and if a proposal came in for an industrial, then we would need to have to get that one approved quick, just to avoid that you don't have just this little parcel within the industrial and commercial lots.
Okay.
And then we had one objection, and this is from Michelle Gerard, and she notes, I have received a notice to rezone the area of Gill Drive from industrial to residential, and I am against it. It does not fit with the commercial area. Even the plan I've seen for modular home park is calling for commercial lots facing Gill Drive.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Scott. Any questions from councillors? Questions? Phil, was there anything that you wanted to add?
Just, I guess, in response.
Oh,
Sure, thanks. In response to Ms. Gerard's comment, the modular apartment buildings, I don't intend to face Gill Drive. They're going to be off to the side. The 1.7 acre parcel is, for the most part, off of Gill Drive as opposed to directly on Gill Drive. There is a small portion on Gill Drive, but for the most part, it's off. And with respect to the questions or comments posed by Manitoba, I think it was transportation, I greatly doubt that this development is going to have any sort of a significant impact on Highway number 5 and 16. And I know we had sort of touched upon it at the last meeting, but there's going to be 24 suites. They're going to be, for the most part, generally single occupancy. I greatly doubt it's going to exceed any of the previous designated use for the property if it was previously zoned as being industrial. If you had, for example, some sort of a industrial commercial outfit like an electrician shop or a plumbing shop or something of that sort, you're still going to see some traffic. I doubt that this will significantly exceed that. And with respect to the issue posed by, I think it was the Department of Environment, I will be getting an engineer study to look at the drainage issue. Although, for the most part, I don't see there being any sort of a significant issue with respect to drainage. These buildings are 20 by 76. They're going to be adequately separated. There's going to be an adequate amount of room from the laneway to the buildings themselves. And certainly I'm going to make sure it fits within all of the town bylaws in that respect.
Councillor Nadeau reports on the latest Yellowhead board meeting, where they began having a serious conversation about strategic planning and looking at the long term, including possibly a new facility in the future. Councillor Kosenchuk attended her first meeting of the Home Assistance Neepawa District, or HAND board, where they discussed meal costs and delivery, as well as income tax preparation assistance for clients. Councillor Sisley held a meeting of the Recreation and Economic Development Committee, where they received the happy news that the town had received a grant from Participation for some outdoor activities. As well, Sisley reported on the success of two recent programs, Paint the Ice at the Flats and the LPN training info session, both of which you can see on NECTV, as well as mention the upcoming Chamber Fair and Job Fair.
Hi, on March 27th, we had a Yellowhead meeting, and at that meeting, one thing that was significant to mention to council here is we started talking about some strategic planning for the Yellowhead, not only for the Yellowhead, but for future community resources in the future. So the Yellowhead board is very very supportive of looking long-term, not just short-term, not just a 5-year plan, but into the long term. So we're going to start looking at possibly reaching out to the community and forming some connections to see who's interested in helping to plan for possibly what it looks like in the future. And might have different needs in regards to recreation. So really, really good meeting that we had, and I think that's just to share with you guys.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Costa.
On March the 22nd, I had my first meeting with the Assistance Neepawa District, the HAND Committee. George and Vicky provided lunch, amazing meal actually for $11. It was really good. We were welcome. I was welcome as a representative from the town, as Gail Johnson is new as well, so she was welcomed. A few things, the ERIK kits, they are emergency response information kits. They can assist emergency responders in situations where a patient might not be able to communicate with their medical conditions or their history. So they were looking into having those provided, and through a seniors initiative program, the kits will be provided free of charge. So that's going through Heather Borsman Public Health. They have tried a 3-month trial of the in-house community meal program. Due to lack of attendance, they will be going back to delivery and pickup only. I was made aware that they deliver basically to like larger centers like Elks, Aspenlea, that type of thing, not necessarily to individual homes, but they are going to expand, but that would require a lot of volunteers, drivers, etc. So they are looking into it just to see if they can expand it to a little bit bigger area. They decided to keep the meal cost at the same at $11 a meal. And since the menus have been posted on Facebook, there's a request for more deliveries. So they are really going to try and get this going. We're going to talk with Justin at the Handyman to see if there's any type of assistance there as well. Some of the activities, March 29th, Michelle and Jim Coburn attended a meeting dealing with emergency preparedness, specifically for seniors. May 1st, Michelle will be assisting in a seminar at Neepawa Library dealing with the end-of-life issues, things like power of attorneys, wills, that type of thing. April 18th at Celebrations Dinner Theater, which wasn't even really advertised and almost sold out already, so I'm not sure. It's advertised, but is it sold out now?
I don't know.
She said it was like
but it's been
just about sold out, and they hadn't even posted it yet. Sand Hills Casino, April 24th, May 8th, and May 29th. We had discussed the coordinator and cook's salaries and made motions and approved appropriate increases as necessary. Gary Black will be volunteering his time once again to do the income tax for the clients. He comes out of Winnipeg. He picks everything up and then mails everything back to them. And Michelle is planning on holding a spring tea, and stay tuned for more on that, because there's nothing set just as of yet. But it was a great meeting, really good group of people, and yeah, it was really good. We're
Yeah.
meeting again till June, but
Yeah,
great.
good. Lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, lots.
Good.
We had a Recreation Economic Development Committee meeting on March 28th. Heidi was able to give us the good news with the participation grant, which she did get. So with this grant, she's been working on this. There'll be 6 days of outdoor fun and exercise classes at Riverbend Park with different instructors from town each day. The activities are going to range from Zumba, martial arts, yoga, and some fun fitness classes. And each of these classes, they're free classes. There's going to be giveaways for participants. Like the first so many are going to get an item for each class. And then there's going to be a couple of draws that will be done at the end of all of this. So when Heidi has dates and stuff, she will be starting to post on social media. So just keep an eye on the Town of Neepawa's social media pages. Paint the Ice that was held the Friday just before spring break. We ended up having 30 to 40 participants down there. and it was just a great day. The adults were painting as much as the kids were. Rain was there. It was fun. So and the ice looked fabulous. It was just a work of art after, so that was a lot of fun. Chamber Fair, it's going to be held May 26th through May 28th. Select Shows will be the new Midway provider, and they will have a bigger setup. The Chamber is looking for volunteers for this event. If you can volunteer, please call Jen at 204-476-5292. The Neepawa Job Fair is coming up. That'll be at Arts Forward April 25th from 3 to 7 p.m. I know Maryland's got, I think, 15 or 16 businesses that will be there, including the Government of Canada, or Elections Canada, I guess, will have a table there as well, looking for people to work the upcoming election. The LPN information session that was held had 106 attendees at it. It was very well received, and it's looking like there should be absolutely no problem filling the spots for the LPN first. I was going to mention handyman, but Madge got it. So there is still spots available for the April 24th trip. So phone Michelle at hand at 204-476-2009.
Councillors Pottinger and Parrott both commented on their attendance at the recent AMM, or Association of Manitoba Municipalities Conference. Councillor Pottinger highlighted the abundance of ideas and information that was available, as well as the warm welcome they received at the legislature from Agassiz MLA Eileen Clark. Deputy Mayor Parrott noted that Neepawa was being held up by several attendees, including provincial politicians, as a positive example of a town that was, as he puts it, doing things right.
I was able to spend 2 days, well actually 3 days, at an AMM convention this week, still digesting all the information. It's all very good information. Some of it's kind of dry in delivery, but it's government. So there was a rollout of some new delivery ideas for healthcare. Lots of opportunity to question decisions being made. And then our council was treated to be Eileen Clark's guest at the legislature. We had lunch and a tour, and then we got to sit in on a question period, which was really interesting, and it was really wonderful of her office to extend that. And she really made us feel welcome. In fact, she let us use her private bathroom. So you should always go to AMM because you get all these perks. And then I went to my very first ever Jets game. So it's been quite a week for me. I'm exhausted. That's my report.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'll just touch on the AMM. I was at the AMM for 2 into 3 days. And I felt the same way Lisa did. There was a lot of information to take in. And yes, some of it was dry, but it was pretty interesting. Just even the start of the AMM was the leaders forum and the provincial leaders. And so that was kind of neat to be able to take that in as well with the leaders. And the gloves came off a little bit, so it was quite interesting. Yeah, so it's been a busy few weeks.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Parrott.
So yeah, I was there too. And I went in on the Monday for the heads of council on your behalf and CAOs. And, you know, the one thing I can say with pride is we're sitting at our table realistically without complaints from the town of Neepawa. But we're hearing from the province, and this is provincial-wide, how do we solve this, how do we solve that, how do we get grants, how do we get help? And the one thing that we're experts at is getting grants, and we give courses on how to get grants written. We give courses on how to be a council member. And it was very evident that we are very well established with talent here. Kudos to that again. And let's see, what was the other half of that I wanted to, oh yeah. So, you know, you always want to come back with these big take-homes. And I think that Neepawa got the biggest take-home because the 3 leaders that were doing their bashing on each other, actually, they weren't supposed to be, you know, electioneering, but they were. And then the MN executive, everybody's making speeches, everybody's and doing their thing. And, you know, a lot of people name drop while they do that. Well, what we got was Neepawa is doing this, Neepawa is doing that, Neepawa has achieved this, Neepawa is moving forward here. And it was just great to hear our community always being listed as an example of how to.
All right, thank you.
In the absence of Manager of Operations Denise Sakay, CAO Colleen Sinshishin presented the operations report. Because we are into spring melt, repairs to Park Lake and the golf course are largely in the same state they have been for the past couple of weeks. Work cannot touch the waterways now until June 15th. However, they expect the golf course work to be done in time for golf season, and as well, work on the new lagoon is proceeding well. A new project, the renovation of the old RCMP station to be used as an Assiniboine Community College training center, is well underway. Demolition of the interior has now been done by town employees, and now the facility must be rebuilt to ACC standards for the program.
Okay, from there, we will look for a CAO report.
So in the absence of our manager of operations, I'll give you the details. Regarding Park Lake Dam and Spillway, just a little update where we're at. The work is about 25% complete now. We finished hauling and stockpiling 100% of the rock-filled riprap that's now on site ready to use. The temporary culvert crossing that was a culvert system has been removed to allow greater flow during the spring. There was a worry that it would wash out when the waters come down through the watershed. And they actually are going to put in now a temporary bridge structure. It has been engineered now and built, and it will be placed once it gets approval by Transport Canada. Upcoming is the rockfill placement, the new dam construction, a mass stone mixing, and the new spillway concrete work. And that'll take place during the summer and the fall. And the contractor, although they're still doing some minor works, they're currently shut down, and work will begin again in May, but we have to stay out of the waterway until after June 15th. So we expect a lot to happen once we hit summer there. As far as the golf course project, the bridge is now in place there and the wood decking has been installed. We're working on wing walls and whatnot. The goal is to complete the project in April. They will have it done in time for the golf season to start. And of course, with the way the weather is out there, they probably have a lot of time to get that project done. The lagoon phase 2, they're working on the basin that'll install the new technology for our lagoon system. The concrete works in the existing basin is complete, and they're working on the interior wall partitions. They're all framed up at this point. A little bit on the training facility. The staff have been diligently working to proceed through the interior demolition of the building to prepare it for restructuring and renovation. We have to meet the criteria as pointed out by and defined by the College of Nurses. And we do continue regularly throughout the week to correspond with ACC and our architects to ensure we can tender the renovation in the short term. Our window for completion there is very, very limited. We hope to be done mid-November if we're going to hit the target of having a course start in January 2024. And then lining everything up with the hospital and all the projects going on this year in town in a very tight budget. We have been participating in various meetings to advance our water and sewer projects into the queue and ensure that the hospital can be serviced timely enough and that we can also extend and improve up to areas where the growth is going to be happening or is currently happening. So if there's any questions, let's just pick and read.
Also covered were the January to March RCMP narrative report for Spruce Plains and the regular financial report. You can view end-to-end coverage of the Town Council meeting elsewhere in the NACTV schedule, including immediately following this. If you have comments, questions, or topics we might be able to shine some light on, please reach out at 204-476-2639 by email at nactvnews@gmail.com or on Facebook at Neepawa TV. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.